Welcome to my views and news. Where it seems that in the Oromia region of Ethiopia, we're going to see some political changes, administrative changes. Is Shimelis Abdisa, Oromia region's president, going to be removed from his position? Who is going to replace him? Kumsa Dereba, Jalmaro, Bakele, Kerba, or Jawar Muhammad or Maria Gudina, or could there be a transitional setup, a transitional government in Oromia without change of the president? We have details for you. In the last 24 hours or so, several developments have happened which point towards upcoming changes in Oromia. Firstly, viewers, Oromo Liberation Army, OLE, and Ethiopian government representatives met in Tanzania, and their Ethiopian army's position was clear that Ola should lay down arms. They should wait for the next election, which will be held after 3 years, and then they can try their luck. If they are elected by the people, they can be part of the parliament, they can lead the region. Ola obviously opposed this position of the government. Ola wants election now, or at least it wants some transitional government in Oromia leading to the next election. That is what we heard through some sources. That is what I reported when talks were concluded, though several viewers said that there was no talk of transitional government. Reportedly, there was talk of transitional government. That is why now we're starting to see statements from some stakeholders in Oromia. They are speaking about inclusive government, about a transitional government. Two developed in the last 24 hours. Hangas Ahmed Ibrahim spoke in a vlog. He talked about transitional government. Secondly, Oromo Federalist Congress, OFC, led by Professor Marita Gudina, Jawar Bekle Garba party held 2-day long central committee meeting, and after that party issued a statement. Both these developments point towards likely establishment of interim government in Oromia in case of successful conclusion of talks between Ola and Ethiopian government. Second round of talks is going to start in coming days. Before that, consultations are underway. What did Hangas Ahmed Ibrahim say? What did Oromo Federalist Congress say? Hangas Ahmed Ibrahim raised 5 points in his vlog, and he's an MP, member of parliament, a member of House of Representatives, very critical of Shimelis Abdisa, very critical of top leaders of Oromia Prosperity Party. But reportedly, he's close to the Prime Minister. Reportedly. Taidandia and Hangasa, they are critical of Oromo Prosperity Party, but they are close to PM Abiy reportedly. Now, Hangasa raised 5 issues. Firstly, he thanked PM Abiy and Ola that both are working for peace. Secondly, he said that only through engagement, through involvement, with participation of Ola, peace can be achieved in Oromia. And thirdly, very important, third point, he said if Ola raises the issue of installation of transitional government in Oromia, he would support Ola's position. So Hangasa is supporting the idea of establishment of a transitional government in Oromia. Fourthly, he proposed some names. Who should lead the transitional government in Oromia? He proposed 3 names. Komsa Dereba Jalmaro, Jawar Muhammad from Oromo Federalist Congress, Bakle Garba from Oromo Federalist Congress. So one of the three should lead the transitional government and steer the region towards the next election, which will be held after 3 years across Ethiopia. And fifthly, he called for the release of OLF leaders too. Oromo Liberation Front, political wing of Ola, led by Daud Ibsa's leaders, are in prisons for years. They should be released too. That is what Hangasa Ahmad Ibrahim say. Now, Hangasa is supporting the removal of Shimelis Abdisa. As I said earlier, he has been critical of top Oromo Prosperity Party leaders, including Shimelis Abdisa. He accused Shimelis Abdisa-backed militias of atrocities against ethnic Amharas in Valaga. Then he accused Oromia regional forces of having assassinated Kareo Oromo elders in East Shiva. But since he is close to the Prime Minister, what he is saying could be under discussions in Addis Ababa. What did the party, Oromo Federalist Congress Party, say? OFC is the largest opposition party in Oromia, led by Murira Godina. Jawar became deputy president of the party last year, Bakle Garba as well. Murira Godina is party chairman. The party held 2-day long central committee meeting on Friday and Saturday. Then yesterday, the party issued a statement, held a presser. The party backed the idea of establishment of transitional government in Oromia. The party said that whether you call it transitional government or inclusive government, that is the way forward. Administrative setup should be expanded. This expansion, which Murira Godina proposed, could be in the form of change of president or in the form of inclusion of OLF, OLA, OFC and other parties at the cabinet. Because the party boycotted last election. 2021 election was boycotted by Oromo Federalist Congress, Oromo Liberation Front and other parties too. TPLF was not allowed. It was declared a terrorist party. OLA not a party. OLF boycotted as well. Baldiras did not contest too. So that election of 2021 was boycotted by major opposition parties of Ethiopia. Murira Godina wants expansion of government in Oromia. He wants inclusion of other parties too, not just Prosperity Party. Right now, Prosperity Party is leading Oromia government. He wants other parties to be part of the Oromia government. Secondly, he proposed the inclusion of opposition parties, other political parties of Oromia in the talks, in Tanzania talks. Obviously, second round of talks is going to start in coming days in Tanzania or in some other country. He wants not only OLA and the government to talk, but he wants other political players to be involved as well. So he wants his party, he did not name the other players, but he wants his party, Oromo Liberation Front and others from Oromia to be included in the talks which are being held in Tanzania. Why? Because he said the talks should focus not on just ceasefire. The talks should resolve political issues. That is why other political forces and groups should be involved as well in the talks. Now, yes, the talks in Tanzania are not focusing on ceasefire. There is already a ceasefire in Oromia. Talks are focusing on broader political issues. If you remember, when talks started, I did a video. I said sooner or later, other players will have to be involved in these talks. Oh, that is what we are hearing, that OFC wants to be part of talks. And I said that Ethiopian government representatives will not be able to make decisions on their own in Tanzania because issues raised by the Ola will require consultations within the Prosperity Party, maybe between federal and regional governments too. If Ola is demanding transitional government, if it is raising issue of the future status of Addis Ababa, obviously federal government will have to take its allies on board. It will have to create consensus within Prosperity Party. That is why after first round of talks, now we are seeing extensive discussions being held in Addis Ababa. So this is the picture of a likely political change which I shared with you. In coming days, I think we're going to see a change in Oromia. Oromo Federalist Congress has realized that there could be a change in Oromia in coming days. That is why the party held a presser yesterday. The party wants its share as well in Oromia transitional government, and it wants to be part of talks too. Let's see, will the government allow other players to be involved in talks in Tanzania? What about OLA? Is OLA going to back the inclusion of OFC at the talks? OLF is represented because Taha and others are former OLF officials. OLF is already there. OLF, OLA, both are there in Tanzania talks. OFC is not part of talks. Let's see, will Ola and Ethiopian government support inclusion of other parties in talks or not? We'll see. And secondly, will Shimelis be removed? We'll have to wait and see. Shimelis seems to be in danger. Hangasa and others will likely push for a change. But question is, can Jawar, Baklegarba or Maro be head of Oromia region? I think to become a regional president, you need to be member of parliament as well. I am sure that to become prime minister, you need to be member of parliament. So maybe same is the principle, but I'm not sure. If you have to be member of parliament to become president, then Jalmaro, Kumsadereba, Jawar, Beklegarba, they cannot be Oromia region's president because they're not members of parliament. But we'll have to wait and see.